There's a task you need to do. You've known about it for days, maybe weeks, and every time you sit down to start, something happens. You check your phone, you reorganize your desk, you clean something you have never cleaned before in your life. And then the day ends, and nothing got done, and you lie in bed, and you do the one thing you've become truly expert at. You tell yourself, what a lazy, useless, broken person you are. Why can't I just do it? What is wrong with me? Why is this so hard? You have said some version of that sentence more times than you can count. Here is the answer. Nothing is wrong with you, but something is happening. And it is not laziness. Laziness, real, clinical laziness, barely exists. What you are experiencing has a name, and that name has nothing to do with your character, your intelligence, or your value as a person. What you're experiencing is avoidance, and avoidance is not a flaw. It is a protection mechanism. Your brain is doing its job, just the wrong job. It decided somewhere along the way that this task, this email, this project, this conversation was dangerous, and it is doing everything in its power to keep you away from danger. That is not laziness. That is survival. The wrong kind of survival. But survival nonetheless. Here is what is actually happening inside your brain. When you look at that unfinished task, your brain doesn't see a task. It sees a threat, a very specific kind of threat, not to your body, but to your self-image. Because attached to that task is a silent question your brain is constantly asking. What if I do this, and it's not good enough? What if I try my hardest, and I still fail? What if finishing this thing confirms something I've always secretly believed about myself? And your nervous system responds to that question exactly the way it was designed to respond to physical danger. It activates your threat response. It freezes you in place, or it makes you run to your phone, to the kitchen, to literally anywhere else. What looks like laziness from the outside is your ancient survival brain running a threat protocol that has nothing to do with the actual task in front of you. It was built to protect you from predators. Now it's protecting you from a blank page. There is a specific type of person who struggles with this more than anyone, and it is not the person who doesn't care. It is the person who cares too much. Perfectionism and procrastination are the same thing wearing different clothes. The perfectionist doesn't avoid because they're lazy. They avoid because doing something imperfectly feels more painful than not doing it at all. If you don't start, you can't fail. If you can't fail, your self-image stays intact. That is the logic your brain is running. Not starting is the safest move, and your brain is extremely good at keeping you safe, even when that safety is slowly destroying your life. Where does this come from? From the same place almost everything comes from: childhood. Think about how achievement was treated in your home growing up. Were you praised for trying, or only for succeeding? Were you celebrated when you gave something your best effort and failed anyway? Or did the failure become the story? For many people, the message they received growing up was never spoken out loud, but it was felt. Your value depends on what you produce. Your love is conditional on your results. That child grew up, but the belief didn't leave. It became the operating system. Now you are an adult who cannot open a document without your entire sense of worth sitting on the line. Every email is an audition. Every project is a test of whether you deserve to take up space. No wonder the brain wants to run. No wonder it finds 17 other things to do instead. It is protecting the most fragile thing you own, the belief that you are enough. And then comes the part that makes everything worse: the shame. You know you're avoiding. You watch yourself do it. You judge yourself for it. And the shame makes it harder to start, which leads to more avoidance, more shame, more days lost. A perfect, sealed loop with no exit, as long as you keep calling it laziness. Because laziness is a character flaw. You cannot fix a character flaw by understanding it. But a fear response, a nervous system that learned the wrong lesson about safety, that is something completely different. That is something you can actually work with. Here is what does not work. More motivation, more willpower, telling yourself to just do it, watching productivity videos, making better to-do lists. You cannot think your way out of a threat response. What works is removing the threat. Make the task so small it no longer feels dangerous. Not write the entire report, just open the document. Not go to the gym, just put on the shoes. When the first step is small enough that failure feels almost impossible, the brain's alarm goes quiet. And once you start, and this is what almost nobody tells you, the resistance disappears. Not because the task got easier, because your brain was never afraid of doing it. It was afraid of starting. It was afraid of what starting might reveal about you. And once you prove that nothing dangerous happens, the threat response has no reason to fire. You are not lazy. You never were. You are someone whose brain learned to protect itself from a pain it once felt very deeply. The pain of trying and not being enough. And now that you can see the mechanism, now that you have a name for it, you can begin to step outside of it. One small step at a time. This channel exists for one reason: to help you understand why you do what you do. Not to judge you, but to show you. Because the moment you stop calling it laziness and start calling it what it actually is, everything changes. Subscribe. New video every week. Welcome to PsychCuts.